Are you a woman in business? Are you looking to join the growing ranks of female entrepreneurs taking over the world? You've come to the right place. On Babes in Business, we'll be covering all things business from the female perspective and giving you the tools to empower you on your journey. So now, let's get ready to be empowered on Babes in Business. Thank you for joining us again. I am your HBIC, your head babe in business, Michelle Dempsey of Very Well Written. If you didn't already know, I own my own writing company and I help tons of businesses in the area get their companies branded with great writing strategy, coaching, consulting, social media, you name it, I do it. But tonight is not about me. Tonight is about another fabulous babe in business who joined me tonight to talk about her law practice. For those of you who tuned in last week, we thank you. We had a great first show. Dr. Jenna Bofshever was with us. And tonight, who do we have with us?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Lauren Gronsky. I'm a family law attorney in private practice here in South Florida. That means I help good people going through what could be a very difficult time. Most people know that family law attorneys practice divorce. It also includes other areas such as paternity cases for couples who have never been married but have kids and have separated, domestic violence, prenuptial agreements, and so much more.
What's fascinating about Lauren is obviously she's dealing with certain things in her career that probably are not the most fun to take home with you, but she does it with a smile and she does it with this nurturing part of her that, you know, it almost feels like you're there to take care of everybody you know. She is. Before I say anything else about Lauren, and then I'll let her take over, Lauren is the epitome of what it means to be a woman in business. She's part of the girl gang. She networks. She's out there. Speaking of the girl gang, she will be joining me as a guest at the Women in Power Expo, the largest one-day event for females in business in South Florida, the first event of its kind. There are going to be over 50 speakers, 500 vendors in October, and I am doing a giveaway tonight because I really feel so passionate about the expo. First caller tonight, 888-565-1470, will get 2 tickets directly from me to the expo. So don't forget to call us and join us at the Women in Power Expo. Lauren, you are the definition of empowered. You live it, you breathe it. Tell us a little bit about your trigger point, right? Because you become a lawyer, you go to law school.
What happens next?
What happens next? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer.
Throughout law school, I was fortunate enough to have a great position clerking in a family law office. And that job exposed me to what it was like working in this area of law. And I realized I liked it. So I took the opportunity while I was in law school to really delve into family law by taking multiple electives, family law litigation workshop, the Nova Southeastern Family Law Clinic that I was a member of for a whole semester, and realized when I graduated, there was really one thing I wanted to do, and that was family law. So I went with it.
And what part of being in law school, did you know before law school that family law would be like your target area?
I really didn't know. It wasn't until I started the job with the family law attorney as a clerk, and I realized what a difference we have the opportunity to make in people's lives, because people are coming in at their worst time ever. I mean, they say that divorce is second only to a death in someone's family, in someone's life. And so when I saw the power that we have to help people going through this time, I knew it was something I liked. And there's an old saying that lawyers like to joke around. It's either you love family law or you hate it. There's no in between. So I loved it.
I can tell why somebody would hire you just in the short time that I've known you. Lauren and I were introduced through a mutual friend. I kind of sort of rode her coattails through the whole networking process when I started my business. Networking is really how I built my business. You do it like a champ. I was amazed and blown away. And I think it's safe to say that you've really solidified your name in business through networking.
Well, I really appreciate that. I take that as a great compliment, because networking in and of itself is its own job. It's its own career. And, when I started my company 3 years ago, I didn't really know much about it. But I've learned that not only is it necessary in business, but that it can be really enjoyable. And I get to meet awesome women like you who empower other women. And I wouldn't be sitting here today, technically, had I not been networking.
I have no shame in saying it. I am married. I have a toddler. Networking is that's my time out. That's my adult time. That's my me time because I get to go and not focus on anything other than meeting other women, hearing their stories, making connections. I love nothing more than to say, hey, I know somebody great who would work well with you, or vice versa when somebody does that for me. And I think, to have the opportunity as a woman in South Florida, it's kind of a big deal down here to be a woman in business because there's so many different outposts for networking.
Yeah, there's so many different groups and so many competing networking groups. And then there's very selective ones. And, it's like a whole beast of itself in its own. But once you get the hang of networking and you find a group that works for you and, you surround yourself with individuals you feel comfortable referring people to and having fun with, it really becomes, like you said, fun. You know, it becomes an enjoyable part of the job.
It is essentially, sometimes on the days where I'm networking, I feel like I wish I could split myself in two because I see the emails coming in. I don't want to be rude. I have a very bad habit. Sorry to any of you whom I've affected with my cell phone habit. I'm always looking down. And it's so hard, it is essentially another job to market yourself.
Absolutely.
But it's a really great way to do it.
Yeah, it's all part of owning a business, being a business owner, and juggling that, bookkeeping. Oh, and lawyering too. I have to fit that in somewhere.
Right. Can you? I don't know if this is okay to ask, but you must hear so many things. I mean, people are coming to you. They're getting divorced. People don't get divorced for no reason.
Oh no.
You must hear it all.
Yeah, like I said earlier, people are coming in and probably what is one of the most devastating times of their life, or what could be. Not every case is like that, fortunately. But yeah, I mean, it runs the gamut. The stories you hear, it's as different as you and I. The variety of facts that walk through the door, unimaginable. I could probably write a novel, and I've only been practicing 4 years.
I can write it for you. Michelle Dempsey, very well written.
Michelle can probably write a novel for me.
Yes.
Based on what I've heard, but it's all real life. These are real people working, with kids on a day-to-day basis, just going through life. And the struggle is real. They come in with very different problems. And one of the things that I do in my office is I really do try to listen to each individual client's needs. And unlike other attorneys who may take a hardline approach automatically, I really tailor my representation to the individual because each client really does need something different. No two cases are the same, no matter what. Even with similar facts, there's always going to be something different. So it requires a personal touch and, an objective eye in order to see what that client really needs.
Well, I think it's amazing that you're able to step into their needs along with obviously doing the lawyer work.
It's difficult.
I'm sure it is. But, I think again, why people love you is because you're going to do it with a smile. And this type of law needs, to be sort of handled with white gloves.
Absolutely.
How do you separate? Because you must hear so much. How do you separate at the end of the day? You're newly married. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I would go home and be like, do you want to know what I heard today? How do you separate the drama from your real life?
Well, it's a great question because it's probably the biggest, not obstacle, but, one of the biggest issues that we confront as lawyers, whether it's family law or criminal, we hear, the ins and outs of people's problems. And one thing that I think is extremely important is to really understand that and empathize with somebody. You may not be able to go through it yourself, but if you can put yourself in their shoes and try to feel what they're feeling, people trust you more. But it's a balance because you also have to remain objective. You have to remain professional. You always have to have that judge sitting on your shoulder and, advising the client of what a court would think, regarding a particular issue. So keeping them separate is a challenge, but you do it. And that's part of, the practice of law is practicing each day how to feel what the client is feeling and really show empathy, represent them to the best of your ability, but also be able to step back and provide objective advice and guide them through this really difficult process. What could be a difficult process doesn't have to be.
Now, I have a question because my husband's an attorney, and it seems like everywhere I go, I'm meeting a lot of male attorneys, and no disrespect, it's wonderful. My stepfather was a male attorney. He was brilliant at what he did. When you walk into court or you're downtown and you have to go handle a case, is it weird? Are you a not weird? Are you a minority amongst
Well,
the other attorneys?
let me tell you, amongst female attorneys, the lady lawyers out there, we all feel
The lady lawyers.
yeah,
I like
we all
that.
feel as female attorneys, and I know that there's some sentiment amongst, most of all, I cannot speak for everyone, but I know that it's common that we're in a male dominated industry and we do get treated differently, and it's our job to assert our position and earn the respect, unfortunately, that men don't have to earn when they walk in a courtroom. The way we dress is scrutinized, the way we color our hair or wear our nails is scrutinized, and men generally don't have to deal with issues like that. I'm a relatively new attorney. I've been practicing 4 years, but I've been in the courtroom since I started clerking back in 2009. And since then, I've always been young. I look young. And I've heard it all. I've been asked whether I want my maiden name restored because they think I'm the wife getting divorced or they think I'm the court reporter. And it just comes along with the stereotype of what a lawyer looks like. Because once I open my mouth and I tell them who I am and they realize that I'm the attorney representing the wife or I'm the attorney who hired the court reporter, everything changes. But it's that initial perception that I have to overcome.
Right.
Being a woman, being youthful, it's just
Being
part
a
of
babe
being
in
a babe.
business. But isn't that frustrating to a certain point? I mean, it's 2016. It is 1,000% the year of the woman. If you're a
Yes.
woman in business, I salute you. There are more female CEOs in business today than ever before. We might even have a female president in the White House. People need to get over it. A strong woman is often looked at, and I said this on the last show, a strong woman is often looked at as a, I can't say the word, rhymes with witch, while a strong man is supported and celebrated. So for me, it's always, I know I can come off a little bit strong and I'm a little bit in your face. So for me, it's always drawing that fine line because I am conscious of the fact that I'm a woman in business. I don't want to be perceived as something I'm not.
You're married to an attorney. Your husband's an attorney.
He is.
If I do, and this is not, love Elliot, love your husband, but if I do the same thing a man does, not to use him as an example, but that a man would do in litigation, if I were to send the same strong email, I get called the word that you're mentioning, whereas another
Unreal.
attorney, a male attorney,
I'm furious.
a male attorney would get a compliment saying you're a real go-getter. You tell him how it is. And I have experienced that where I say the same exact thing that somebody else says. And just because they're a male, it comes off, I get, stereotyped as emotional, erratic, and whatever, but I'm just doing my job. It's
Call me
interesting.
emotional, call me erratic, call me a witch, call me whatever you want. This is why I've become so passionate about female empowerment. And again, first person to call in wins 2 tickets to the Women in Power Expo, October
stuff.
15th. I would love to have you as my guest. I will be speaking there along with 49 other fabulous women in business, 500 vendors, so much goodness happening from 10 to 5 on October 15th. Call us now, 888-565-1470. We have about 1 minute before we go to break. Lauren, why don't you tell everybody again before we where we can find you?
Sure. My office is Law Offices of Lauren Gronsky, also known as Gronsky Law. We're located on Ives Dairy Road. In the Aventura area, we have 3 locations. You can find us on the web at gronskylaw.com or call us at 305-914-5688.
Thank you, Lauren. And I am Michelle Dempsey of michelledempsey.com. You can email me at michelle@michelledempsey.com. I'm a speaker, a writer, a mama, a strategist, a friend, and above all things, I am a babe in business. When we come back, I would like to talk about being raised by strong female women, being what it means on the impact of your career to have a strong single mom empowering you on your life.
Which we have in common.
Yes, we sure do. Thank you for listening to Babes in Business. And let me tell you, if you're looking for a lawyer, I've got the guy for you. The show is brought to you by the Dempsey Law Firm, PA, a civil litigation boutique specializing in personal injury and wills, trust, and estate planning. The firm founder and attorney, Elliot Dempsey, serves clients across South Florida for issues ranging from auto accidents and slip and falls to your basic will or trust to protect your loved ones. We've all got loved ones, so he's the right guy to call for it. The Dempsey Law Firm can be found online at www.thedempseylaw.com or call them by phone at 954-667-8120. Tell them Michelle sent you. And don't forget, change is the law of life. Thank you for listening to Babes in Business. I am your number one babe in business, your host, Michelle Dempsey of Very Well Written, the business I founded to help other entrepreneurs get their businesses off the ground with great content, strategy, branding, social media, editing, and anything in the way of words. I've got you covered, www.michelledempsey.com, or you can call me at 305-469-7500. Don't forget to tune in every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock to join me and a fellow babe in business talk all things business. Can't wait to see you there. Are you feeling empowered to be a babe in business? Just when you thought you had all the secrets, I'm getting ready to share some more. We'll see you there on Babes in Business. Yes, we're back, Babes in Business. I have to share this amazing little, I know it looks like a Bible. It's going to be my Bible. It's the Boss Lady Bible. Our fabulous guest, Lauren Gronsky, lawyer, family law attorney, gave this to me this evening, and I'm feeling really happy about that because I am a boss lady and I own it. And speaking of owning, being a boss babe, because that's something that really you have to step into and wear as, a full-time cloak around the world so that you never step out of that zone. You remind yourself every day who you are.
All day.
Lauren and I share something in common. We were both raised by moms, women who were so strong on their own. Lauren's mom being a businesswoman, mine having to step back into the world of business after divorcing. And I know for me, it's made a world of difference in the outcome of who I am as a person in life and in business. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what that means for you, Lauren?
Absolutely. I often wonder if I would be here today if I didn't have such female empowerment from my mom, but not only my mom, it was the women that she surrounded herself with. And I know you just wrote an article recently that I read this past week about having a good girl gang.
Yes.
And one thing I'll give my mom credit for was she always had a really good girl gang. I was raised around, my father and my mother and father were divorced, and we had a very close relationship, my father and I. But I was raised around a bunch of strong, independent women, mostly in business, doctors,
Cheers to
lawyers.
That. Cheers to that, my
major
friend.
airlines. It was really an empowering childhood. And I think the combination of the times we live in, coupled with the people who helped raise me in this world, this group of women, really set me up for a mindset where I didn't feel there were obstacles in my way, and that's amazing.
And for me, being raised by a single mom who did everything and more, she did the role of two parents with a smile on her face. On my toughest days, I know for me, I always think my mom did it alone. I have a husband. We have two incomes. We only have one child. My mom did it with two children alone. So that's my driving force is if she can do it the way she did it with a smile on her face, never broke a sweat. I never saw my mother cry. Man,
it's amazing. I relate it to what I do on a daily basis. I'm not a mother yet, though I do want children. But because of the nature of what I do and the fact that most of my clients have kids and we're dealing with their domestic situation, I can relate on a level because I did grow up the child of a single mother. And so I understand the struggle from a personal level, but also in my business, I understand it from a logistical level. I see the numbers. I know how hard it is to raise a child. I know how expensive it is now. I have this whole new perspective as a family law attorney that just adds to me, growing up in that scenario. And I think it does lend to the clients, and they see that I really get what they're going through, especially when you're separating and you have kids. You're looking at this whole new life of being a single parent.
It's to be a parent in general they don't call it a job for nothing. And to do it,
it's work.
To do it alone, I am always so blown away and inspired by the single moms that I meet. I think you are in a world all your own, in a class all your own, and you deserve to be celebrated. Our moms especially. Mommy, I love you. So tell me, because we got to keep it real, right?
Keeping it real.
Keeping it real. Not every day's a picnic. just like it's raining outside today. There are days in business where you're like, I can't seem to keep this nastiness off of me. Keep it real for me. Tell the viewers, what are those days that just, make you want to throw in the towel? And
You know, I'm in a profession where it's my job to fight with other people in my profession. And so it can tend to be a high stress.
yeah, you don't seem like a confrontational person to
in
me.
my
So
personal life. That's on purpose.
Okay.
Because I'm always in confrontation mode from the minute I step in from the minute I wake up and it's a work day or even a weekend to the minute I go home at night. So I really choose to be very non-confrontational in my life if I can be, and I do fight my battles. I pick and choose, but it's a tough business. But really, I find that the most difficult part is we're dealing with people. These are real people. These are lives in our hands. Our clients have kids who are someone's sister, maybe someone's mother, someone's, aunt. These are people's lives. And there's too many people in this industry who are out to make a buck because you can make good money. And my problem is, the thing that irks me the most is really dealing with other attorneys who may not be so ethical, may take positions that are detrimental to a child. That's really upsetting to me because we wield a lot of power as the attorney with the knowledge of the law. And so we can set the pace and we can make a big difference in how a case is handled. It could be very peaceful or it could be very contentious. It just depends.
right.
And so,
Do you want to know what my keep it real moment is every day, all day?
yes.
I don't have enough hours in the day.
Yes.
And I don't get enough sleep. But there's this part of me inside that's like, keep going, keep going, keep going. And it's like more and more and more for me. And I can't stop. But every day for me, it's like, God, if I just had like two of me or more time or, which it's just.
Well, I told you the toughest part about being a family law attorney, but the toughest part about being a female entrepreneur is finding the time for everything, fitting life in, juggling all of that jobs and wearing all of the hats. And that definitely is the biggest struggle. But
busy is
somehow
good.
we make it manage.
Busy is great.
manage it.
I would obviously much rather be busy from a
course.
financial standpoint. And because of the fact that I have every single client I have right now is I can't say I love them so much. If you're listening,
You put out a client a type that you wanted and you started to
Yes,
attract
I
them
manifested
immediately.
it.
It's amazing.
I really, for me, it was about securing a client that I could feel friendly with. I'm a collaborative person. I'm an open, nurturing, giving person.
Yes.
Many people will tell you I probably give too much for what I charge, but you know what? It makes a client feel, and you know this,
100%.
I know you give 1,000% of your time to somebody, whether they're paying for it or not. It makes a client feel good. And in turn, you have a beautiful working relationship. And that makes my day. That's what makes me feel successful. And
it is your success.
I have clients who are like, you know what? We love working with you. Come to our business. Sit with us. Work with us. I do it with Dr. Jenna, who you met last week.
You're always welcome
Jenna,
at our office.
Thank you.
I want to go to Dr.
Start,
Jenna's office. Hey, Dr. Jenna, I'm coming.
I'm just going to start setting up shop at businesses in South Florida. I don't even need my own office. But really,
You're welcome.
For me, it's I have manifested my own.
It's amazing.
It's fun. It's great. So there's so many. I feel like each year that passes that anybody's in business, things just keep going. They keep rolling. They keep taking on a life form all their own. Yeah. If you could say, you know what, Michelle, close my eyes. I imagine myself in 5 years. Here's where I'll be. Where will that be?
Well, it's definitely going to be, a progression of what I'm doing now. I really enjoy it. I love learning more and more each day and practicing in this area. So I want to expand my business, and that's the goal. Right now, I'm just riding the wave of, taking it day by day. I think I mentioned earlier, my company's been in business 3 years, and that tends to be a milestone, people say in business. And I'm just thrilled that at this point, I am where I am.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for everything I have, for the wonderful clients I have, for the support of my friends and family who have helped me get here and help me every day. And so I'm just, elated. And
I know. And I wake up every morning. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm my own boss.
Yes.
Oh my God, what's on my calendar for today?
It's actually an amazing feeling.
It's an amazing feeling. It's as amazing as it is. It can be overwhelming, but I'll take it. I will not ever trade what I have for the world, and I know you feel the same way.
It's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
It really is. My 5-year plan.
Yeah, what's your plan? I want to know.
I'm going to say this
But
on
you're
every
growing
show.
fast, so you better have a big plan. Seriously.
I told you, I'll be satisfied.
I know.
Ellen DeGeneres, are you listening to this show? You obviously weren't listening to the first one. Ellen. I want to dance with Ellen down those stairs. I want to sit on her couch. I want to tell the world. I want to have the opportunity to do what I do, the public speaking that I do here in South Florida, to take it worldwide. I want to empower audiences of all kinds. I want women all over the world to know you are not your past, regardless of what has happened to you, what you've been through. Adversity makes you stronger and gives you a better story to tell, and a better story leads to a better business.
Your message is so empowering, and I want you to spread it across the world, because just spreading it throughout South Florida has been awesome, but it's not enough. Everyone needs to hear, your story and your message of empowerment that you have to bring to women. It is truly amazing.
Thank you.
It's empowered me in the short time that we've known each other beyond belief.
I think because once you really step into a role that you fully believe in, when you love what you do, it comes bleeding out of your pores.
You know what's funny? Nothing about law or anything, but I used to be shy away from using words like babes in business, because
trust me, I've gotten flack for it.
But that's the old feminism. Seriously,
modern feminism.
We shied away from it because we didn't want to be seen as a stereotype, and we didn't want to, our other attributes to be looked over. But the truth is, we don't need to worry about that anymore. We are babes in business, but we still command the same respect. We're in this place, and I'm so happy that you chose that as the name of your show.
Okay, well, you know what? I thought of it on the fly. I do a lot of things on the fly. I mentioned on the first show, I'm impulsive. When I get an idea, I run with it. I think about it after. It worked for me. There were some people who said, babe. Yes, babe. This is modern feminism.
Yes, thank you.
You don't have to be a feminist who shuns makeup and says, well, I'm going to stay away from looking good. No, you being the woman that you are, owning it, and then succeeding in your life, for me, that's feminism.
That's feminism.
That is feminism.
Exactly.
Speaking of being the woman that you are and owning it, October 15th, come see me live at the Women in Power Expo of 50 speakers. I am one of them. 500 vendors. Going to be amazing at the Convention Center in Fort Lauderdale from 10 to 5. You can buy tickets online at womenempowerexpo.com. If you want to work with me, or you want to know more about me, or you want to read all of my published work, or you want to meet me, I have lots of speaking events coming up. Just check my site, michelledempsey.com, 305-469-7500. Keep it successful, keep it sassy, keep it smart, and keep being a babe in business. Like they say, all good things must come to an end. But the good news is we'll be back next week with more tips, more secrets, and more strategies to empower you on your business babe journey. Did you like something you heard today, or would you like to join us on the show? Please contact me now at 305-469-7500, or visit me on the web at www.michelledempsey.com. I look forward to connecting with you and helping you become a babe in business.
The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those